Then I went into another sector. I went into the dry cleaning business. Again, what I saw was the margins depleting over the years. Cost of labor goes up, cost of supplies go up, but the margins continuously diminish. What I found is I was looking at a sector as to where the margins were increasing every year as opposed to decreasing. And that's through property appreciation.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Okay, so and then some tell us why property? Why you decide property to be the vehicle for you to start and grow your business?
For me, the properties were something that I can express my art. So for me, my business is sort of my art, and you can express your art in many different ways. You can do it through painting, you can do it through music, you can do it through clothing, you can do it through eyeglass manufacturing, you can do it through gardening, you can do it so many ways. And for me, property and development allowed me to canvas to express my art on how I want to express it, the type of buildings we want to build, the type of homes we want to build, the type of developments we want to build. And it something that was always resonated for me from the time that I was very young, because they're structures that stand the test of time. And I wanted to do something where with property, people use it and live in it and can enjoy it for decades to come, not just moments, but for decades to come, and to engineer buildings that had not been engineered before, create structures that nobody had really done before, and so those were very unique for me.
So I'm asking you this question because in this podcast, on a stop of 5 steps how to make your first million, 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 6 entrepreneurs that come to the broadcast, they're doing property. And so here, even like I shared with you, my first business was in property. We managed to sell over 5 million. So we definitely want to encourage all our listeners if they want to start a business and they want to make a million. We believe that property is one of the best vehicles in the planet to achieve that, in comparison with other strategies. However, we want them also to be aware that when you get it wrong in property, is you can lose a lot of money. Yeah, and we want to be frank. And being an entrepreneur is developing a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. So it doesn't matter, in my opinion. Somehow, when you started the property business, you can be lucky, but don't trust your luck, because somehow it's part of developing this skill that something's gonna go wrong and you're gonna take a big hit and you have to overcome that hit. And this is I think almost impossible. Don't happen to any property entrepreneur. Is part of the growth. So Sam, how you overcome challenges, especially in the space that you are, which is development, when something goes wrong, it's hard, because it's your money plus the money of other people. So how you handle adversity?
You mean adversity? I think comes with any time you're going to do anything great, you're going to encounter adversity. The bigger the challenges and the bigger you grow your business, the adversities will come with it proportionally. It's part of the plan. It's part of the universe.
Part of the process. There's no way we can escape from that one, right?
Every person that has achieved any level of greatness has encountered challenges and issues along the way. There isn't anybody that I know that has not, and they're proportionate to the challenge. So you're going to hit adversity. You're going to encounter it. Everything's, not everything's going to go perfect all the time. And especially in property development, you're going to hit cycles. There's unforeseen. I mean, look at just what happened a few years ago with COVID. Nobody would have predicted that we would have had a global pandemic and have a shutdown and have a global shutdown, which affected supply chains and many different businesses as well. I think when you hit those adversities, your role as a leader or as a captain is to guide everyone and take everybody through that adversity and bring them out the other side successfully. Most people quit in adversity. Most people fail in adversity because they just give up. And the stress and the pressure overwhelms their passion to continue to push forward. It's like being in a storm, in a weather, like an airplane going through it or a ship going through it. And you need a captain that's going to guide everyone through that storm and bring them out the other side, or bring them above the clouds and get into sunny areas. And that takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of persistence. It takes a lot of vision, and it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of belief and hope that you're not, you believe in yourself and you believe in the idea that you have, you believe in the business plan you have, you believe in the model you have. You have to pivot at times and pivot your business model depending on what's going on in the environment that gave you those challenges. But the main thing is not to give up. You fail because you give up. As long as you don't give up and you keep pushing through, you will hit the next wave and the next break, the next second chance, I call it, that's going to give you the lift to get through it. And you just have to fight long enough and be persistent long enough to get through the challenge, because you're going to hit a much better day, and those challenges will then be in the rear view mirror for you. But you gotta spend the time to do that.
So Sam, let's talk about the vehicle, because I'm very curious about, because honestly, when I started my property business, it was kind of by accident. Well, by accident, no. What happened was, when I arrived to London, I was working in a pub, right? And I think I was making $5.75 per hour, something like that. And so when my salary came, right, it was at the point that I was spending more than I was making. And when I'm looking at the salary, the biggest overhead was the rent. So I say, well, I either deal with this overhead, and I always call it, I either monetize the problem or I have to come back to Spain. There's no way that I can, and that's why I started the rent business, and this overhead went away really fast, because I was doing the properties, and then basically we're renting the house, living in that house, and the rent of the other rooms, they were covering the my rent. And this is how all started, out of necessity, right? So, but in your case, do you have any family member? Do you have any friend? It was out of necessity. What was this? Do you read the book? So what really happened that drove you to this vehicle that I think all of us, either by accident or any reason, we end up in this in real estate? I think that we are blessed, because it's the best thing. I'm so grateful to real estate that and is built. Everything that I had done in my life. I traveled the world. I speak in front of thousands of people. I have paid my dreams. I done anything in life that I want to do, and that won't be possible definitely without the real estate. So, how it was by accident also? You have a
It wasn't by
friend?
accident. I mean, no, it wasn't a friend. I was in many different industries before real estate. I was in consumer electronics. I started
Oh
a
wow!
consumer business back in the late 80s in the blank audio video cassette market. So I was selling batteries and selling cassette tapes and VHS tapes. This is long before a lot of
Oh yeah. I remember the cassette. I was a kid.
correct. And so I started in that business, and it was and then from that business, I went into the dry cleaning business, into the retail dry cleaning business. And these were very difficult, very challenging businesses, each one of them. And the margins, what I saw was, in most of these businesses, the margins were getting lower and lower year by year. So I would start in the business of the consumer electronics, and it was great. I was making money, but then the margins started to decrease every year, and you were making less and less money. And I could see that it was getting to the point where in a few years you have no margin or very little margin to be able to live. So it was not sustainable. Then I went into another sector. I went into the dry cleaning business. Again, what I saw was the margins depleting over the years. Cost of labor goes up, cost of supplies go up, but the margins continuously diminish. What I found is I was looking at a sector as to where the margins were increasing every year as opposed to decreasing. And that's through property appreciation. And so the property development makes, I think, more millionaires than any other business in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the reason for it is it's an appreciating margin business as opposed to a depreciating margin business. And so you could buy a piece of property, even leverage it, and within a year or more, the property is worth more than you bought it for, rather than, and again, I'm generalizing. There are cycles where you don't hit that, of course, but those cycles are also very short-lived. If you look at the long-term, or you look at, 5-year horizon or greater, the properties have always appreciated. They've never gone down to a point where, so to me, I think the real estate development and property sector is the best for making your first million, because it's the easiest and the most accessible way to do it over any other business that I've been involved with or that I've seen.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.